Hello and welcome to the Sunday Preview Rundown. It's just me, Joshua, this week. It's Mitchell's turn to be out sick. He did a great job last week. I'm hoping I can fill his very large shoes, metaphorically. This week we've got Vashtorr. And some other stuff, but it's mostly Vashtorr. So headlining is Arks of Omen Vashtorr, the book 3 in the Arks of Omen book. Like the other Arks of Omen book, this does not have new rules except for boarding actions, and some new narrative missions, which is great. I really like that they aren't doing the Psychic Awakening thing where they put new rules for everybody in the books. It's just Arks of Omen. I'm perfectly fine. Also a collector's edition. Now on to the real meat of this week, Wrath of the Soulforge King. Vashtorr here is invading the Rock, not Dwayne Johnson, but the home of the Dark Angels, because he's after something hidden deep inside. He is up against Supreme Grandmaster Azrael, who has recently crossed the Rubicon Primaris, aka he is now a Primaris. This is a dual box set and comes with two minis that I think have been long awaited by a lot of people. One, we've got Vashtorr here on the left. This is a demon who gets stronger every time you basically do something with technology you're not supposed to. So the Necrons losing their souls, Guilliman coming back, all of those things empower him. He has his own plans in motion. It's still not clear exactly what they are. Maybe this book will be the one that tells us what he's really after. Probably not. And you got Grandmaster Azrael over here, leader of the Dark Angels, now a Primaris Marine. I particularly like that he has a little hooded guy holding his helmet, although admittedly I would prefer that the helmet was on his head personally. The Vashtorr model I'm a huge fan of, really excited for that one. I hope he's not too ludicrously expensive. I don't know the cost on this box yet. I'm going to guess it's another $210 box. My ballpark for how much Vashtorr would be outside of this box would be $80, possibly $100. He's not quite Primarch sized, so I don't think he's going to go up into the $120 or $140 range, but I don't know for sure. Also included in the box are, on the Vashtorr side, 10 Chaos Cultists, who even the article says are way over their head, an Obliterator, two Obliterators, and a Venom Crawler. All new Chaos kits, all good looking, all pretty decent in game. On the Marine side, we've got your 10 Intercessors, along with 2 upgrade sprues for Dark Angels, which is nice. But somewhat interestingly, we also have a unit of 5 Deathwing Terminators. This is the first time in a very long time that Firstborn Marines have been in a box like this. Those of you who are fans of Firstborn will no doubt be happy. Terminators are some of the Firstborn who I would say are the best competitively in Space Marines right now. And of course, Dark Angels have a special affinity for them with their entire Deathwing rules and their nicely colored armors. So if anybody was going to get these guys in their own box, it was going to be the Dark Angels. I'm personally not a huge fan of anything on the Space Marine side. Azrael himself looks fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't love the Dark Angel robes plus armor aesthetic. I understand what it's going for. It's really not my bag. And then the Deathwing Terminators just kind of leave me cold. Chaos side, though, I am super pumped for. Oh, you also get a bunch of Dark Angels transfers, which, woohoo. We also get more dice, the Vashtorr dice. I guess it's nice that they're not God-aligned except for Vashtorr. This is post-diceflation, which is to say there are only 15 dice in here. So far, the 15 dice sets have been $33, so not really any savings, just more money for less dice. Not exactly great. These dice are at least readable. The Chaos symbol is cool. It's clearly a Chaos symbol with a Vashtorr bit on it. That's great. I'm sorry, I'm picturing somebody putting this art print up in, just their house, just, next to their family photos. Oh, that's my nephew, John, and my Aunt Carrie, and, oh, that's Vashtorr. You get this art print if you buy a bundle that has the book, the box set, and the dice. It's fine. On to less exciting news, Boarding Patrol Adeptus Mechanicus. This one's fine. Boarding Patrols have always been like $110. For that price, this one's okay. Adeptus Mechanicus are notoriously expensive to collect. So this one comes with a Tech Priest Dominus, unit of 10 Scutari, unit of 5 Rust Stalkers or Infiltrators, and a unit of 3 Cataphron Breachers or Destroyers. Decent if you want everything in there. For Adeptus Mechanicus, you actually You only need to want 2 of the main 3 things in here for it to be a good deal because of how expensive those models usually are. Chaos Demons Boarding Patrol is second verse, same as the first, except this one is kind of the opposite, because while Adeptus Mechanicus are brand new models, these are all old as heck models that I personally don't care for at all. It's just a bunch of Fleshhounds and a bunch of Bloodletters led by Karanak, who is a special Fleshhound. You know, this is as good as Boarding Patrol is going to be for Khorne, but meh. The fact is specifically that it is basically Khorne and it's called Chaos Demons is a little weird to me because it's just Khorne. It's Bloodletters and Fleshhounds. It should have been called Boarding Patrol Khorne Demons, but, you know, that's always a weird thing with demons in 40k. Death Guard, on the flip side, much more attractive. You've got a Lord of Virulence, 3 Death Shroud Terminators, 10 Plague Marines. All of those are pretty decent in the current 40k world. They're also all new models who look great. Again, a good deal if you want everything in here. Genestealer Cults suffers from the same problem as Adeptus Mechanicus, whereas they are very expensive to collect, very low points per dollar. This one's okay. You get a Kellermorph, an Abominant, 5 Aberrants, and 10 Acolyte Hybrids, or Hybrid Metamorphs. So, interestingly, no Neophytes in here, and 3 heroes, an Abominant, a Kellermorph, or sorry, 2 heroes, a Kellermorph and an Abominant, which is interesting. GSC is very, very hero-heavy normally. This is, again, cost-wise, a good deal. Points-wise, very, very low. But that's just a problem with Genestealer Cults in general. If you're going to spring for Genestealer Cults, I think you should probably just buy the Combat Patrol, because it's only going to be $30 or $40 more and comes with a vehicle and far more of what you actually need. That being said, if you're looking to expand out a Genestealer Cults army, getting 2 of these getting a Boarding Patrol and a Combat Patrol, probably not the worst idea. And then, well, here's the thing. I was going to say that these were very late, because Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights came out quite a long time ago. But these are clearly post-Diceflation dice sets. There's, 15 of them instead of the old 20. So they're not new, but they're not old? This is confusing to me. The dice themselves are dice. I like the Knight thing. The Chaos Knight thing is fine, but they're dice. They're really expensive, and they're dice. That's it for Warhammer 40k. We go now to Middle-earth Strategy Battle Game. Basically, this is the release of the things from the recent Battle for Osgiliath box set. We've got Captain Headwound, Other Guy, and Farmir. I mean, their names are Madriel and Damrod, but it's Captain Headwound. Look, he dies in the first 30 seconds. What do you want? Spoilers for Lord of the Rings Return of the King, I guess. These are all nice new plastic models. Ditto for Gothmog. Comes either mounted on his warg or on foot. Notable because we're going from bad resin to nice new plastic. Good for you if you play either of these armies but did not want to spring for the Osgiliath box set. We go now to Horus Heresy, where we have the Typhon Heavy Siege Tank. It's kind of like a Demolisher Cannon on a siege tank, except it's called the Dreadhammer Siege Cannon. It's a big gun on a tank, not a Land Raider. What do you want? Slightly more exciting is Exodus, the One Who Is Many. This is everyone's favorite Alpha Legion sniper. Got a nice little firing selection switch on his rifle. Cool model. I don't love Alpha Legion as far as their scales motif, but that guy is a great model himself. Now, this does not say whether he is plastic or resin, interestingly enough. It does not say Forge World, though, so I'm really hoping he is plastic. Ditto for this Traitor Esoterist Consul. If you clipped off that finger there, you could have him doing a really cool middle finger to the sky. He's basically a librarian who's gone a little bit evil. Is that blood on his mouth? Or I don't think so. I think that's just, like, dude needs some chapstick, though. Again, does not say whether it's Forge World or not, but it doesn't say Forge World, so I'm hoping that means these are plastic kits. I will get Exodus if he's in plastic. I absolutely will not pay Forge World resin prices for it, though. And then, speaking of usually Forge World resin, we've got the upgrades. Raven Guard upgrades are kind of a little less fun when everybody's beakies nowadays, but they're the OG beakies, and they've got little Raven Guard symbols on their foreheads. Aim there, I guess. Alpha Legion, a little more unique. They're interesting helmets which are not quite beaky helmets, and of course their very cool Hydra logo. And then finally, Character Heads Upgrades set. This is interesting. It's divided into two. How many different ways can we make buff, boring dudes' heads look? Well, turns out 30 different ways. 15 in each set. These are all resin, I'm assuming, because it does not say. Yeah, it doesn't say that it is resin or plastic. I'm going to go on a limb and say that these are resin, because all the previous ones have been. Very interesting. Okay, these heads do say they are resin, so those are definitely resin. I'm going to guess these are all going to be Forge World upgrades. I'm really hoping these guys aren't, though, because those are great models, and I don't want them to be in resin. And then finally, White Dwarf 486, which is going to have the written rules for those Regiments of Renown who just came out for Age of Sigmar. It's nice that they're not making us buy a whole new book, just a White Dwarf for that, although their rules are also free online. So you don't need to buy this if you want those. There's also some conveyor belt board titles for Arks of Omen and Warcry Fighter cards, which is interesting. Previously, Warcry Fighter cards for the Underworld's warbands were all added to the Tome of Champions, but with the new edition, they didn't have any of those. Now they've been releasing them again, so like the Loon Court got rules for Warcry, but they haven't re-released anything for the old Warcry warbands, which is a shame, because I really liked those. We've also got some Black Library stuff. Cypher, Lord of the Fallen, everyone's most annoying traitor Dark Angel character, sorry. Araman, everyone's totally not my fault Magnus. No, he doesn't. I was about to say Magnus disciple, but he's not really. He's kind of not on great terms with him, huh? Because it's totally not his fault. Magnus did nothing wrong, but Araman kind of did. And then finally, the Cato Sicarius Omnibus. Insert your own I am Cato Sicarius meme here. And some audiobooks and some alternate language things. So this week is a pretty banger week for, let's just be honest, it's mostly all about this box set up here. The boarding patrols are nice. The I am Exodus guy is also nice, but really we're all after Wrath of the Soulforge King. The most recent box sets from Games Workshop have been severely throttled on their availability. I know, for example, that my local store has often only gotten 1, 2, maybe 3 of these boxes. I certainly hope that is not the case for Wrath of the Soulforge King. I really want one of these. I mean, I want to sell the Dark Angels half, but I really want this Chaos half here. And if we only get 3 of these, boy, it's going to be a... I hope I'm fast on the pre-order draw. Hopefully they have fixed their little supply issues, and hopefully that will not be the case this week. I guess we'll find out 6 days from today, and I will see you all 7 days from today. If you liked what you heard, go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know if you're on Team Azrael or Team Vashtorr, aka Team Awesome Vashtorr or Boring Dark Angel. We'll see you next time.